Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright coverage here as we're working our way through the Brecht realm. So we're starting a new section and getting into some really interesting territories now. So this is part 4, the Eastern Basin States. And let's take a look here. And it's a pretty cool quote that starts it off here. If ill fortune plagues the Western Basin States and speckles their history with tragedy and betrayal, the Basin States of the East own the rights to luck and good fortune. So goes a favorite saying of the residents of the Eastern Basin States. They don't even worry about tempting fate by repeating the phrase. An Easterner's luck remains one of the most popular metaphors throughout Brechtur. When a gambler takes the favorite in a bet, especially one backed by good odds, he takes the East against the West, and has a hard time finding takers on the opposite side. From Merchant Master Kellorgan, free trader and sometime philosopher. So, pretty cool stuff here. So yeah, we've seen in the Western states just all kinds of tough situations and just a lot of conflict and sort of issues internally and externally. Whereas in the Eastern ones here, we get into some of the more famous Brecht realms like Muden, and then some of the more sort of oddball realms like the Halfling realm, which we'll talk about here in just a second, and in more detail when we get to the realm. So, contrary to popular opinion, the Eastern Basin states did not rely on luck or the blessings of the gods to become what they are today. Muden led the way to prosperity during the initial settlement of the Basin states by laying out its borders carefully. While other lords and disorganized immigrants grabbed more land than they could develop or hold, the settlers of Muden carved out a small keystone of civilization along the shores of the Black Ice Bay. While other emerging Brecht realms seemed content to hunt and fish and trap to survive, the Mudenites plotted their provinces into farmland and communities. Perhaps the good fortune of the Eastern Basin states began with this careful planning. Even though Troycht and Berhagen, longtime colonies of Muden that gained their independence only after the Anwirian occupation, have not developed into realms as civilized or cosmopolitan as Muden, the cornerstone state of Brechtur, they do have peace and civilization after a fashion. Troycht remains a careful balance between civilization and the wild, which we covered again in the Western states, it does count as that, while Berhagen, which we'll cover here, struggles and succeeds in a land once thought too tough to tame. So to the south, in Royal Guard, the strongest conflicts arose during the colonial times. Settled by explorers and the military lords of Muden during the days of the Free League of Brechtur, Royal Guard became a human-occupied forest realm, living side by side with one of the great remaining elf domains in Cyrilia. Fortunately, the Royal Guard peoples either decided to leave the elves of the Kuladorite alone or felt greater animosity towards their human neighbors and chose not to start something they couldn't finish. So, we'll take a look at the map in a second. Now, one of the coolest realms, and again, very unique here in the whole setting with all the expansions, is that we actually have a halfling country or realm. So the only halfling realm in Cyrilia, the Burrows, remains a peaceful enigma on a continent torn by war. Considering the geographical position of this nation, it's hard to imagine this tiny realm enjoying the peace it has known for generations. With the most warlike of the free Brecht peoples to the north, the Anshe realm of the Sphinx to the south, and the reclusive elven domain of Kulavi to the northwest, one wonders how the Burrows has survived or even prospered over the years here. But it has. Holdings in the Burrows flourish within the tiny domain. Leadership, which consists of a council of mix between hereditary lords and those who have actually just earned their way through achievement, keeps the Burrows safe and protected from the outside world. Unlike the elves of Cyrilia, the halflings don't shut their borders to travelers, trade, or other races, and mysteriously, the most predatory of other nations somehow seem to avoid or overlook the halflings. And finally, there is an Anshe, but not as dangerous as we've seen in some of the other areas. The luck of the Eastern Basin states extends even to the most problematic of subjects. While every other region of Cyrilia finds itself plagued with predatory and destructive Anshe, the Eastern Basin states have somehow escaped with only Justina, the Banshee, as their token Anshe. Justina, a just and fair ruler without designs for conquering other lands, is all but unaware of her evil counterpart, the Banshee, and rarely succumbs to the pull of Azrai's blood. Her intentions are truly with the good of her people, and she therefore poses no threat to her neighbors. So a little something different. So if we take a look at the map again, everything that doesn't have stats is not part of this section. So we got the Burrows here in the southwest, decently sized too, so it looks like 5 provinces, right? You got Royal Guard in the south that covers a pretty broad area. You see the small little Banshee realm there in sort of the left side of the picture with the level 2 province. Then moving up here, Muden covers quite a bit of territory, as you can see. So Troyes is kind of off to the left there, but again, we've covered that in the western states. So Muden does have a pretty sizable realm with some very highly developed areas too, several 7s and 6s. And then finally, Bearhagen kind of off to the east here, much more sparsely settled. And then you can kind of see some of the Voss things, Voss realms bordering off to the side here, which we'll cover down the road. But so it's a much smaller area, these basin states, so it'll be a quicker section, but we definitely have some important realms to look at. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you've adventured over in this area or ran a realm in a campaign. Love to hear your stories in general so far. What you think about some of the oddball realms here, like the Halfling and the Banshee. And again, if you want to see videos like this a little bit early, please consider supporting us on our Patreon. We do have early access to all of our Birthright videos and more content and hobby related things coming soon, and are generally always either exclusive or available early for our patrons, and some other things in the works as well. So we'll have a link in the description, but for now, make sure you like and subscribe and comment, and we'll see you in the next one.